Procrastination. That's a big one. Hello, everybody. I am Brandon Tackett, and I am finally back with another off-the-cuff video. And today, as I said at the top of the video, I'm going to be talking about procrastination. But before I get into that, I want to take a quick moment to thank everybody who has been watching my videos. I am very grateful for your views. I am very grateful that you care what I have to say, and I appreciate every last one of you that watches. With that being said, if you are watching and you have not yet liked this video, please do. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do. And supposedly it helps an awful lot if you hit the little notification bell. I would be eternally grateful. Now, so why do we procrastinate? I mean, a lot of the times I personally will procrastinate things that I legitimately want to do. And that's the one that bothers me the most. I mean, there are plenty of negative reasons to procrastinate. One of them being that we are afraid that we won't enjoy something, right? Like if we've made plans to go do something with someone, or we've made plans to go try something new, and we end up canceling them and rescheduling them and saying, well, I don't really feel like it today, maybe tomorrow. We're doing that because we're afraid that we might not enjoy the particular event. It's a valid reason to procrastinate, but as I've talked about in past videos, it's good to step out of our comfort zone, which is essentially what's going on there. Also, kind of similar is sometimes we procrastinate things because we want to avoid being unhappy, right? Like, it's different in the sense that these are things that we have done before, and they are generally good things that we need to do, but we don't really enjoy doing them. So they don't really generate happiness, and instead they kind of generate the opposite. They generate monotony and just the drudge of everyday life, right? I need to go tag my car and renew my license, but I keep putting them off. I've had plenty of days off, and I keep putting them off because I don't want to go stand in the line at the clerk's office. I don't want to have to go spend money that I would rather use on other things. But I have to do it. I'm going to do it, but I'm still putting it off until the last moment because of unhappiness. Oftentimes, we'll procrastinate because we want to do something else entirely. Jim Butcher, the author of the Dresden Files series, and I'm going to have to paraphrase here because it's been a long time since I've read this, but he says that there's no such thing as writer's block. There is only I would rather play video games block. And that essentially sums up this whole point. There's often going to be things that we need to do, have to do, or should do that we put off because there are things that we would rather do. And we need to admit that to ourselves. The biggest one, and probably the one that currently has me in the state where this is on my mind, is the fear of failure. And I talk about this one a lot. I talk about fear on this channel a lot because most of our problems that exist up here, that manifest out here, begin with our fear in here. And, so if you're afraid that you're going to fail at something, you're going to want to avoid doing it for as long as possible. It's only human. It's perfectly natural. It's normal. You shouldn't feel guilty or ashamed of it. But at the same time, you kind of need to just tie your shoes, stand up, and start moving forward. Because fear of failure is never going to go away. It's always going to be there. And we need to learn to climb over it. A very valid reason for procrastination is just general confusion. Sometimes we need to do something that we don't really understand, and it's complex, and we're going to have to learn how to do it before we can accomplish it. So we will put it off because we're not really putting off the thing that we want to do. We're putting off learning how to do the thing that we want to do. Because oftentimes learning is not all that fun. It's a lot of reading articles and reading books and talking to people in the field and collecting information, sorting it out, memorizing things. And it's, I guess that would tie right back into the not wanting to be unhappy element. And then the other one that I consider a valid reason is just being tired. I'm talking body, mind, soul, just deep in your bones tired. I mean, we've all been there. It doesn't happen too often, but it can happen fairly frequently, depending upon your situation in life, the job you work, the people that you have to deal with on a daily basis. So I feel like those last two are kind of excusable reasons for procrastination. But the other ones are things that we can, should, and are going to address and deal with. Just one moment. Safety always comes first. A friend of mine was concerned that me filming videos while driving would be unsafe, but I hope everyone notices that I spend far more time focusing on the road than anything else. All right. With that being covered real quick, I just want to cover what's going on in my life, the reasons that I am procrastinating. It's been days since I posted my last video, and it's not from a lack of want or a lack of desire to do so. It is the depression and anxiety that I'm dealing with, that I started this channel to fight. Sometimes they just pop up, even when I'm doing really well, even when I'm doing everything that I need to be doing to handle and manage those things. Sometimes they're just going to be there. And so I got discouraged a couple of days back, and I kind of went to a little negativity spiral, and I started to fear failure. I was like, why am I making these videos? I'm not going to get any significant amount of viewers. I'm never going to reach a large enough audience. I'm never going to be able to help enough people. And then it just, like I said, and I'll keep reinforcing this, once you let a negative thought in, negativity breeds negativity. It's just a downward spiral, people. And that's happened. And that's why I haven't been posting videos as regularly as I was when I first started. The excitement kind of waned down a bit. I'm still excited, but it waned down enough that the adversary was able to start whispering in my ear again. And I have realized it. I've taken steps. Clearly, here I am. We're doing this again. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep fighting, and we are going to win. The other reason that I have been procrastinating stuff is because I give the advice, and then I often don't take the advice myself. And I have advised people that you need to step back and look at the bigger picture, break things down into smaller tasks, smaller goals, and focus on the small victories. But here lately, I have just been focusing entirely on how daunting what it is that I want to achieve is. I want to be successful at this. I want to reach people. I want to help people. There's another YouTube channel that I've started that I want to do. It's more fun and entertainment. It's lighthearted stuff, and I want to do that. And then I wanted to start an Instagram and develop an Instagram following so I could build my audience and direct them to YouTube and all of this. And I stopped looking at everything as individual goals and started looking at them as just one giant goal that were all interlocked and they all had to be maintained and managed at all times. And it was overwhelming, which is something I'm probably going to talk about tomorrow because I feel like it deserves its own video. All right, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and discuss a couple of things that we can do to try to manage our tendencies to procrastinate. The first one I kind of just touched on is to set achievable goals. You know, here reiterating just as much for myself as I am for everyone else. We need to step back, look at the bigger picture, and break everything down into smaller goals. For instance, I'm going to assign a day out of my week that's specifically going to be for handling the Instagram stuff. I'm going to assign a day out of my week that's specifically for doing my fun, entertaining channel. And then the rest of the week is going to be dedicated to this. See, those are small, achievable goals. I have separated them from the whole, made them their own thing, and given them their own set of guidelines. The next thing that can help with procrastination is to do the hard thing first. And nobody wants to do the hard thing first because it's the hard thing. But here's the secret about doing the hard thing first. If you do the hard thing first, your day, your week, your month, year, life, whatever, will just get easier because you have done the hard thing already. The next thing will not be as hard. The thing after that will not be as hard as that. And you will have this progression of things feeling like they're getting easier because they are. It is a beautiful realization to have. The next one, I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. No multitasking. Everybody thinks that they are amazing multitaskers. If you point to me to somebody who says they are an amazing multitasker, I will point to you someone who is really good at half-assing a lot of things at one time. Because the human brain just does not work that way. We have a limited capacity to do it. Obviously, I'm driving a car and talking to you at the same time. That's multitasking. But if I was on a trip to a place that I have never been before, this trip, I drive it every day. I'm not saying it is impossible for me to wreck or anything on this trip, because it always is. But I am familiar enough with it to know what to look for, what to pay attention to, where the highest points of traffic are. It's familiar. So my brain doesn't have to put as much effort into it. And in situations like that, you can kind of get away with it. But it's best to just avoid it. And the last thing, and this is a proactive thing that you can do, and it is called the 10-minute rule. Everything that you want to do in a day, if you have so much stuff that you're just overwhelmed and you think, I can't get to all of this stuff, it's just not possible, you know, I'm just going to have to do it later, and you start procrastinating, use the 10-minute rule. With the 10-minute rule, you have your list of things that you need to get done in your day, and you just do each of them for 10 minutes every day. Need to clean out the garage? Spend 10 minutes cleaning out the garage. Trying to write a book? Spend 10 minutes writing on that book. Just 10 minutes. That's it. And oftentimes, when you do this, you'll find that you start spending more time on projects. You'll get to the 10-minute mark and you'll be like, well, I want to roll. I need to keep going. And you'll keep going. Because, as I've touched on before, more often than not, the hardest part of anything is getting started. And with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. I am almost to the grocery store. It is time to buy groceries for week 3 of body recomposition. Once again, If you have watched this far, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you. You are an amazing person. And I hope you keep coming back, and I hope you keep watching. I have set up an Instagram account. It's new, so there's not a lot on there. It is at Brandon.Kernel29. That is COLONEL Kernel. And I have restarted my old film analysis critique YouTube channel, and I'm going to try to post a video on there about once a week. I will put the link to that in the description below. If you have anything that you would like to add, any tips that you have for dealing with procrastination, please throw them in the comments below. I would really appreciate the help. And as always, go forth and be good humans.